Welcome to Daily Gains. I'm Dave Joseph.
I'm Jeremy.
And we're excited to share the word with you as we meditate on the truth that is before us. So let's get started. 1 John 1:5. This is the message we have heard from him and announced to you.
This is the message that we have heard from him and announced to you.
That God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all.
That God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all.
And that's the verse.
Mm-hmm.
May God bless the reading, hearing, and living out of his word. Amen.
Amen. Amen and amen. So we start with paragraph 1. Paragraph 1, John gives his purpose. Why I'm writing. Why am I writing this? I'm writing this. And we went through it earlier this week. We have an experience. We had testimony. We're telling you so that you can be a part of us, so our joy can be complete. Now he tells us what this is.
Okay.
What is this?
A message.
Here's the foundation of this message. God is light. Not only is God light, but there is no darkness in him at all.
Yep.
Truth. Be enough to put a period at the end of that.
They did. I think.
Probably. Of course, there's no punctuation in the Greek.
Exactly. So I'm gonna.
And we know, because we've read this before, that John's going to build off of that first statement, that initial statement, to say more. He's going to go deeper on this. He's going to spin this a couple different ways. But it's important for the purpose here at the beginning to recognize this salient fact. Again, John's not talking about Jesus yet. He's going back to God the Father. He's going back to the very beginning, just like he did in the gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. The Word became life, and the life was the light of men. John's themes here of life, of word, and light all tie together. And not, I don't want to go deeply into this, but not in some sort of mystical way, where like there's this trinity of life and light that is like the secret thing that you need to have this internal life and this internal light and this internal secret word. And
Are you making fun of the new book that just came out?
no, but I will.
Okay.
And I'll also say this, the new book that just came out is repeating the same stuff that has come out in lots of books for many hundreds of years. Because there's always been this internal draw to the secret thing, to the hidden thing.
He's written multiple books to the same thing. I'm not going to mention him because he's not belonging on
I have no idea who you're talking about. Okay.
He will once I say it, but I'm not going to say it here.
I don't doubt you. But here's what John is saying. John is drawing back to this fundamental truth about God. For the rest of the book here, John's going to be drawing distinctions. I heard it said recently that Jesus came and Jesus drew distinctions through all of his ministry. He distinguished between the righteous and the unrighteous. He distinguished between the life and the dead. He distinguished between the good and the bad. Everywhere Jesus went, he was making distinctions. John too is making a distinction here. He's saying God is not only light, but in him there is no darkness. So he's saying God is yes, but God is also not no. It's not enough to simply say this is what he is. He's excluding everything else. He's making this mutually exclusive. So that you can't say, after hearing, well, John said God is light, and this is sort of light, so this is God. John says, no, false, not what I'm saying. I'm saying God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. The way that Sheriff Taylor used to say, at all. My kids are enjoying the Andy Griffith show.
Okay.
Rebirth. That's important because for the rest of the book, John's going to be making this distinction between who is alive and who is dead, between who has the love of God and who has hate, between who has the truth and who has a lie. And he's setting us up right now in the second paragraph to understand this is about making discriminations. This is about being able to rightly identify where you are by answering a few very simple questions based on understanding who God is. Because if you have fellowship with him who is the light and him who in whom there is no darkness, that means the same must also be true for you. And I can tell you, Dave, listener, the same is not true for me also. And that's a challenge for me. I run into the reality of my sin when I recognize, yeah, there's light in me. There's also darkness. Yes, there's life in me. There's also death. Yes, there's truth in my mouth. There's also lies. Yes, there's love in me. There's also hate. And I want to be myself. I want to be this unified whole of Jer. And I run into God, who is a unified whole of all light, no darkness. And God shines that light into my life and says, where that hate is, where that lie is, where that death is, that is not me. That has to go. And John is setting us up for that challenge. Even though he hasn't really said it, he sets us up for, I don't think this is a punch. I don't think he's setting us up for like a 1-2. But he sets us up for the argument that's about to be laid out. That's going to be a challenging argument. That's going to be hard to hear at times. That I'm going to want to reject. I'm going to say, John, come on. Are you really, John? You're going to be a fanatic about this? You're going to go that extreme? And John's saying here at the beginning, yes, I am. Why? Well, because of who God is. It's not just that God is light. It's that God is light. And there is no darkness in him at all.
I look at this verse and wrestle with that this is a message that is being announced and just again how we should be sharing. And as you stated, there's no darkness at all. I see there being this filter of grace where God is using light therapy on me and working on the darkness, on those areas that I do not desire to look at because of guilt and shame, knowing that, I fully embrace them when I want to be bad. But 2 seconds later, really, I did that again? Like there's no joy in it. It's just disappointment. But yet there was an opportunity to turn away, and often I missed that ramp 2 or 3 times.
And enjoyed missing it. I'm in the fast lane, baby.
And yet this gets to an earlier conversation we had in a different episode about how when we turn our back to God, I don't feel the light like I do when I stand outside in the sun. Like I know the sun is still behind me. For some reason, when I'm in that space of being selfish, I become the prodigal son. Like I miss those ramps. I have to find the end of myself, even though that might be different for me than for you. I just don't understand why that is. And I know it's partly because of sin. I'm not made perfect yet. And yet I also know that in the relationship, there's the beauty of being able to grow out of this if I'm willing to trust God. And so I do think that's part of being in the light, is not trying to fix it myself because I just came out of the dark. But it is being able to say, you know what, he's always in the light. His eyes are already adjusted. He is the best doctor I could ever ask for. He's gentle. He waits for me to say, hey, look at that beam sticking out of my eye. And he's willing to help me get better. And so, I see this as a good thing, and at the same thing, as you said, it's a challenging thing. I don't see in here the expectation of me being perfect. I see the expectation, again, of me engaging with it. This is a message, so what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, it's a challenge. It sets itself up to be a corrective. So for the listener who doesn't know, I'm legally blind. I am blind in one eye and can't see out of the other. And I had a orientation and mobility instructor who was working with me a couple years back, and she asks me a couple questions. She says, so you got a pair of sunglasses? I say, of course I do. And she says, and you put them on before you leave the building, right? And I said, of course not. Why would I do that? I'm in my early 40s when this happens. She says, you put them on before you leave the building, and it dawns on me that for 3 decades, I've been waiting until I couldn't see to put on my sunglasses so that when I put my sunglasses on, guess what? I still can't see. And I would take my sunglasses off outside so that when I walked into a darker area, guess what? Still couldn't see. And I had no idea I was doing this, Dave. She points this out, and for me, it was like revelation. I was like, are you kidding me? How did I not do this? And I'm sure I'm in a small population of idiots who do this, who might be listening right now and be like, oh, that's the way you're supposed to do it? Like, why didn't the sunglasses come with a little instruction booklet? Why didn't my parents teach me? I don't have an answer to those questions. All I can say is I was doing it wrong for years. And as a result, my vision was really, really troubled by the light and by the darkness. I couldn't deal with it. Now, I put my sunglasses on before I walk out of the house or before I walk out of the building. And I leave them on until I'm inside so that when my sunglasses go on inside the building and I walk outside, my eyes are already adjusted. They can already see better because brightness has come, but I've just put darkness on to balance it. And I walk inside with my sunglasses on, and as soon as I take them off, it's as bright as day inside and I can see. Now, this analogy here breaks down, but it made me think of that because, as you said, God being this light, it hurts our eyes when we come into it. But that light serves a purpose, which we're going to get into in the next couple of verses. So this is enough for me to have going over time now and say, I appreciate that perspective that you brought for us. That's really helpful to me.
Oh, happy. Let's go get busy. Busy. Serving and loving God. Not just being busy, but actually being with Him.
Amen.
Being present and resting in Him. The busy work is harder because you can't do like others. You actually have to be present with Him. So it requires intentional coming back to the light over and over again throughout the day and throughout the night. Have a blessed one.